Good evening. This is Brian Thomas Simons, and these are the main headlines of this hour. Among other news,
1. New 266 executive decisions were released in the Oval Office during the weekend. Among them, A new executive order declares that the Big Beautiful Bill won't add to the national debt, that the tax cuts will pay for themselves, and that anybody questioning this patriotic fact will join Paul Krugman in the infamous Saco Salvadoran prison. B. In compliance with a new executive order, the assets of Tesla will be seized and auctioned, and the proceeds will be invested in Trump meme coins. C. A new executive decision declares Alligator Alcatraz a national monument. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will present, in the term of a week, a detailed project with the amusements that will be offered in Alligator Alcatraz. The entrance fee will be used to pay for the president's immigration policies. D. In compliance with an executive order issued last week, the Fox News host selected to give President Trump the daily intelligence briefings issued by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard but prepared by the Israeli Mossad will be Jesse Waters. To perform his new duties, Waters will read the briefings in a Pepe Le Frog costume, the character chosen by President Trump to keep himself engaged with the briefing he otherwise would consider boring. 2. Homeland Security Secretary to open amusement park in Alligator Alcatraz in September. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, in compliance with the Big Beautiful Bill and the executive order recently issued by President Trump, will open an amusement park in Alligator Alcatraz with the following amusements. A. The Zoran Mamdani section. Here, visitors will be able to yell slurs at Democratic mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani and pelt him with rocks. In this section, you will be able to watch how Mamdani eats rice with his fingers, how Mamdani confesses to being Hamas when waterboarded, and how Mamdani is joined by new friends, like Mehdi Hassan, when physical conditions advise him to be finally deported and replaced. Price of rocks: small, $1 each. Medium, $5 each. Large, $10 each. B. The Hunting Adventure section. Here, visitors will be able to fire live ammunition at the detainees, illegal aliens, as the detainees are forced to choose between the alligators and the bullets. Post-show bonus for the whole family. You will be able to watch how we feed the alligators with the illegal aliens fallen during the show. 3. Noem presents images of cannibal migrant. In a press conference that took place yesterday morning in the facilities of Homeland Security, Secretary Kristi Noem, in DHS costume, presented images backing her allegations of the arrest of a cannibal immigrant who would have tried to eat himself on a deportation flight. When CNN DHS correspondent Jean Messerve raised her hand to note that the image suspiciously resembled images of the 1980 movie Anthropophagus, masked ICE agents arrested her and took her to Alligator Alcatraz under the charge of being an illegal alien. 4. Schumer forces name change for Big Beautiful Bill moments before it passes. Democrats committed to more name changes, warns Schumer. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, in a rare instance of courage, forced the change of name for the Big Beautiful Bill just before it passed with his vote. Yes, we Democrats give fiery speeches, but in the end, we always vote for whatever our President Trump says in the name of bipartisanship. Our voters demand more fight, and we are going to meet their expectations. That's why we are also going to push for the following name changes. A. Homeless people should be named house dreamers, as unhoused is no longer in fashion. B. Penitentiaries and correctional institutions from now on should be named diversity houses. C. Schools from now on should be named street smarts places, Latinx hoods in neighborhoods majorly Latinx, and their motto will be "The people, united, will never be defeated." D. Bambi will from now on be known as non-binary and be dressed in the pride flag. Likewise, joining DNC Chair Ken Martin, Schumer demanded solidarity with Iron Heart, currently airing on Disney+. 5. Military parade successful at recruiting more rioters for January 6, 2026. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt declared to the Mirror that the military parade was successful in all its goals, especially at recruiting more rioters to do tourism in Washington, D.C. In the next January 6, President Trump is worried about economic stability, and the only source of instability he can see is Democrats retaking the House of Representatives next year or, worse, Democrats replacing Chuck Schumer as Senate Minority Leader. That's why, if the Patriots take over the government and Secretary Hegseth has finished replacing the troublemakers in the Pentagon, with the risk of adverse elections removed, he believes we can offer stability even beyond 2028 and get credit rating agencies to give us back an AAA rating, declared the press secretary. 6. President Trump says he will send future No Kings protesters and those not showing enough enthusiasm about his next military parade to Alligator Alcatraz. In an exclusive interview with The Mirror, President Trump was adamant regarding protesters, and regarding No Kings protesters in particular, as well as those who don't show enough enthusiasm in his next military parade, that they will be declared illegal aliens and sent to Alligator Alcatraz. We are also considering Rattlesnake Death Valley and other alternatives to jail illegal aliens while also entertaining the MAGA people, who have already shown excitement to visit Alligator Alcatraz with their families for the amusements Secretary Noem is preparing for them. Yesterday, she told me she could also perform a number, recreating the killing of her puppy, more cannibal immigrants, and something like that. Family shows, if you know what I mean, declared President Trump during the interview. 7. Weird sponsor shoutouts include mentions for Pepe Coin, Sheeb, and Dollar Trump. Dollar Trump's contribution would have been just symbolic. A weird occurrence during Trump's military parade was the shoutouts of the sponsors of the event, among which it was Pepe Coin and Sheba, with monetary contributions, and Dollar Trump, with a moral contribution. In the interview given to The Mirror, President Trump confided that Pepe Coin outshone other donors and so was rewarded with Elon Musk's shares in SpaceX. We have to recognize the patriotism of our donors, their recurrent purchases of Dollar Trump, somehow, explained the president. 8. Trump humiliatingly cut off by Mark Carney before giving bizarre gesture to reporters. Trump hikes tariffs on Canada as reprisal. The incident took place during the latest G7 summit. When asked by a reporter if there was a specific city he planned to target, Trump answered, all Democrat-run cities. He added, and they think they are going to use illegal immigrants to vote. It's not gonna happen. Carney then hopped into the fray and stated the gaggle was over. That's it, thank you, the Prime Minister said. Upset with what he took for Carney's insolence, he declared he would hike tariffs on Canada to 1,000% starting July 9. 9. Naked Florida man with machete arrested for trying to steal another man's clothes. A Mamdani fan, not eligible for Patriot defense, Volusia County Sheriff says. A naked Florida man who, armed with a machete, allegedly tried to steal another man's clothes was arrested Monday morning at a DeLand gas station, according to the Volusia Sheriff's Office. Brandon Wright, 34, suddenly came out of the woods and, waving a large machete-style knife, demanded the clothes, wallet, and phone of a customer who at the moment was filling gas. Wright, who has prior convictions including false imprisonment, possession of cocaine, and battery on a law enforcement officer, was taken to the Volusia County Branch Jail on charges of attempted robbery with a deadly weapon, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Volusia County Sheriff Michael Chitwood declared that, since Wright was not a member of the Republican Party, he was not eligible for the Patriot defense. Him, illiterate, crazy bum didn't know better, so the district attorney asked him, "You like Mamdani?" And the idiot says yes, he does. So he's not a Republican. And the Supreme Court created the Patriot Defense only for patriots, like patriots from the January 6th revolt. So, we'll put him in jail for the rest of his life, declared Sheriff Chitwood. When asked whether a psychological evaluation had been performed on Wright, the sheriff responded, "What for? He's not a Republican."
This has been the news of this hour. Sponsored by Church of the Holy Redeemer's Power in the Spirit. Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior? Did you vote for Trump in 2016 and then in 2020? This is the right church for you. If so, Church of the Holy Redeemer's Power in the Spirit is the only Christian church that can promise you in the Lord to have 72 virgins in heaven for only a donation of $50 a month. You will have access to those 72 virgins in heaven. For an additional $25, you will be allowed to replace 10 of them, and for $100, Heaven Premium, you will be allowed to choose them for yourself. Guaranteed, if you're not satisfied with those 72 virgins after you die, full refund of your money. We accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover.